All right, guys. So crypto is in a fairly fragile place right now, as is all of the financial markets. We're going to talk about what is going on. This continues to be the continuing narrative facing all of us as crypto and even investors in general with stocks with what we got right now. Now you see all this right here. This is there's a light here in front of me, and that's all of the banners that my wife had hung for my son's 18th birthday. She does like a little birthday table for us on our birthdays and so stuff. There's like all the birthday stuff right here. So that's festive banners and stuff. So that's what that is. So what the heck is that, Austin? All right. So let's talk about what's going on and what we've got to deal with here. Okay. So as I said, crypto, from a crypto news standpoint, crypto is in a fragile place right now. Okay. And so again, it's not majorly down right this second because we haven't had a complete breakdown of the ceasefire deal that is now in place between the U.S. and Iran, but we are starting to see some holes appear in that deal, and I'm going to explain what's going on to you and the impact that's going to have and is having on your crypto. So you can see market cap's down 1%, Bitcoin is down about 0.5%, Ethereum's down about 2.7%. You can see right there. And XRP for the, as far as kind of some of the top guys, is down over 3+%. Okay, so here's what we've got playing out is the Strait of Hormuz, which is really Iran's biggest leverage point in this conflict, is the major flashpoint in this ceasefire deal. So Strait of Hormuz has immediately become the major flashpoint. That's what I said. Part of Trump's, quote, fragile ceasefire. Okay. And so if you kind of move down here to the red, here's what's playing out. So Iran's semi-official FARS new agency claimed that tanker traffic has been halted over Israel's continued strikes in Lebanon. Now, as far as I knew, Israel and their conflict with Lebanon had nothing to do with the ceasefire deal between the U.S. and Iran. But now Iran is saying that is part of it. Okay, I don't think it was part of the original deal. Okay. Wall Street Journal reported that Iran has told mediators it would limit the number of ships crossing to around a dozen a day, a fraction of the more than 130 that passed each day before the war. Okay, continuing on. Right here, Carolyn Leavitt, who is the White House press secretary, called the FARS claims about a halt in traffic false and said any closing of the strait would be completely unacceptable. Quote, she also said that the U.S. is supportive of Israel's position that Lebanon is not part of this ceasefire. So these are really the two key points that you need to walk away from with the video is that there is contention on our ships passing through the strait, and or is it not as many as it should be, okay, as part of the original ceasefire deal. And then there's contention that Iran is claiming that Israel striking Lebanon in the last 24 hours or so is a breaking point in the ceasefire. That's what you have going on, okay? And so, again, it kind of brings back this fragility scenario as it applies to the markets. Now, taking a look right here at the top, I'm going to refresh the page. We got the Dow futures down 200, the NASDAQ futures down 60. So I am recording this video before the stock market is open. Okay, and you can see that right now the stock market is pointing to a much lower opening and is going to go into the red. Not surprising considering what we're seeing as far as these two contention points coming out related to the ceasefire deal. Okay, so there you go. Because we're already seeing the effect that it is having on crypto. Crypto's down 1%. Instead, it was up like 5+% yesterday, right? So that's the issues we're seeing. And I kind of said this when the deal was being put together. The wording around what Iran said they would do with the Strait of Hormuz was very. It's hard to explain. It was not. The wording was very hard to kind of put together. It said that that any ships would have to coordinate with Iran's army forces. There was conditions, it was conditional, etc. So it was just kind of this very weirdly wording from the Iran side on what they would or wouldn't do as far as ships.